Matt Epp is a singer-songwriter, mostly based out of Ontario these days. We met each other years ago when he toured through PEI a few times, and we played some shows together. This time we caught up over Zoom while he was in Calgary, Alberta for a string of shows. He's just one of my favorite humans to talk with about music and art and God and everything. I hope you like it. You don't know what to do, and you don't know what to say. Forget all that. Start anyway. Spark that fire and build it high and watch it burn. Then let it die.
Hey, nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Right on. So, do you do this? You have this nice set of posters in the back of special shows. Should I have been setting up a better background? Oh my goodness, I'm
No,
dropping the ball
God,
here.
you're good. You're good. I've been collecting these posters for like 25 years, and I finally have a place to put them up. So, um, I don't
Yeah,
know.
right
Do you
on.
do you remember the apartment that I had in downtown Charlottetown that had a whole bunch of posters in the stairwell?
I do remember that place. I was there probably a couple of times.
Yeah.
Or did you have a house in between also?
No, this is my first house.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure because that apartment, I remember it being pretty spacious.
it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
spacious and cheap, and we could have shows in there.
Love that. Those are vintage words right there.
Totally. I mean, it was falling apart, of course, as well. But anyway,
Yeah, well, I'd rather be vintage and cheap and falling apart.
same. I kind of
I
am.
think I think I was just gonna say I think I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on.
So you're in Calgary.
Yeah, Calgary.
You're doing a cool set of shows. Did you start the shows yet, or have you just been rehearsing?
Just this morning we started. So we did 2 shows with these are the Calgary Philharmonic's educational shows. They do some programming where they bring in schools. So they bus in all
Mm.
these schools and then so our show Wandering with Wonder, which I'm one of the primary composers for, um, was and we have a film for it behind the CPO and everything. And so those started today and we had, the Jack Singer Hall filled with filled with children, which was amazing,
Awesome.
to yeah, and also the enthusiasm and the magic that that
Yeah.
they're anticipating and then experiencing. It was so you know the room. You've been there.
Yeah, yeah, I have. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds good everywhere. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Very cool. Is this a show that you've done before?
One time with the Red Deer Symphony, and then before that, we performed it a few times on the land. Originally, it was we were composing this before COVID, so during COVID, we had to branch out and make a film and start working with symphony stuff, but before that, it was meant to be a performance that happened entirely outside on the land,
Mm.
where the audience would follow. There's an audience of 100 people only, and there was way more people in the cast, like a jazz trio, a string quartet, a puppeteer, all these actors, and then there would be like a choir that would come out of the foothills, and then there was
Yeah,
also, ballet, and anyways, it ended up being, we only did that 3 times, and then it's COVID's too dangerous to be outside,
yeah.
you know?
It sounds a lot like a show that's been happening here on PEI for a while called the River Clyde Pageant, which is, yeah, it's like, basically you like, if you go as an audience member, you follow along with the show as it goes through different outdoor venues, and there's different people that come up and different acts that you come across, so there's choirs, and there's poets, and there's musicians,
What?
and there's stilt walkers, and there's puppeteers
Oh
everywhere, and
my
there's, like,
god.
puppets going it's beautiful and magical, but so similar in yeah,
Wow.
anyway.
Well, thank you for telling me about that one because, the more dreamers we have out here, I love that we're
Mhm.
talking about art because the more dreamers we've got going, the more these collaborations and it really kind of sparks something in kids, I think.
Oh,
Different than
100%.
concerts, as you know, so
Yeah.
many concerts are like, um, and not to slam, the people that need to make a living at venues and stuff, but a lot of concerts are so tied in with alcohol,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
children are like actively told, "You're not welcome to participate." And what did our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ say? Do not hold the little ones from. So
Yeah.
I'm just, like, really thrilled when there's examples of things, um, grown-ups that haven't lost their imaginations, and,
Mhm.
that's what this whole show's about too, and connecting with the earth and reconnecting and things like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you think that these ideas are part of the collective unconscious and that they are floating around and different people in different places of the world are having, like, the same idea at the same time? I like to think that.
I thi I think that I don't understand the whole thing because obviously we have to, I've had experiences that lead me to believe that's true.
Mhm.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And a lot of the people that I feel are really good at becoming channels and getting out of the way and receiving something. So
Mhm.
some people might say collective unconscious. Um, there's definitely a group, like a group of, yeah, consciousness that happens among humans all over and shifts that happen. And whether or not this is just it ends at consciousness or if it's like from our creator and sort of like so things sent
Yeah.
down. It's like, okay, Drea Macdonald, if you didn't take that song because you were too tired that morning and I
Yeah, I
sent it
know,
to you
right?
in a dream, then I'm gonna try it out on Matt. Well, Matt's also blown it
Yeah.
because he was too
I do
tired. So
I do think that these stories and ideas are floating around, and it just
mhm,
takes somebody to act on it to kinda bring it out. And then lots of people will bring their own versions of those ideas out into the world too, and then you're like, "Wow, that's weird." Like, they're look how similar they are. I just think it's really cool to think of.
absolutely. Yeah.
You just made, a new album. Is that, all mixed and, like, is it all done?
It's finished. It's finished. Yeah, actually I'm here. I haven't actually talked about this online yet, but I did a limited edition
Cool.
version of the album on CD, and I'll only do one small pressing, but I'm only going to put this record out in the fall. But in the meantime, I'm going on tour, and I thought, well, it might be one of those things that the people that, you know, really are waiting to hear this, I'd be happy
Mhm.
to share it and have something to sell to pay for making
Yeah.
the record, and then in the fall, it can start being, put out there, uh, online, and I'll make vinyl and stuff like that with different design. But, yes, it's called Sugar in the Rain. The
Mhm.
first song just came out. It was actually recorded, um, just pre-pandemic in Nashville, and it was an outtake from Shadowlands,
Mm.
and it was one of my favorite songs in the recording session, but it was just too, like, upbeat and Beatlesy and,
Mm. Wasn't meant for
uh
that collection of songs.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever done that where you just drop something you
Yes.
love because it doesn't fit?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah. But you got a chance to bring it back?
Um, no, actually, I don't think I ever did. I think I would like, it would stay in the live rotation, but I don't think it never a couple of times that happened, and those songs just never made it
Mm.
onto anything yet. Maybe they will.
Maybe they will. Well, I'll warn you. I had my van broken into during I don't know, a few years some years ago
Mm.
when I was working on this project for in Alberta, and, uh, and I was so tired, I actually slept through the break-in. Somebody jimmied the door, and they
Mhm.
reached in and grabbed my backpack that was packed to come here and do this recording with the symphony, and so I had all my hard drives in there because I thought, "I'm not gonna leave these in in my car. For those that don't know,
Yeah.
I live in a van. I been living in my Sprinter van for 6 years now.
Hmm.
And so the point of the story is that I lost all of my back catalog and recordings that were supposed to they waited, and I had
Right.
like I had let's say a good 100 songs that I still liked that I was just waiting for the right time,
Mm.
and all my back masters and everything, and they were all gone. So that was it was a tough loss, but also as an artist, I think you might relate to it. A fresh start is also kind of
Yeah. Clean break,
yeah,
restart. Yeah,
freedom. Yeah.
totally. Yeah. And when it comes to touring, I've talked to a number of people on this podcast that tour more often probably in Europe than they do in Canada. And I know you do too. I mean, I know you tour all over, but you keep going back to Germany and other
Mhm.
European countries. Why is it so great for Canadian artists over there for touring and playing?
Going to Europe for me, of course, any artist wants to be turned on with new experiences and environments. Also, just to upload
Mhm.
new visuals and be able to see the common humanity that isn't just in Eastern Canada or in the prairies where I'm from or something, but see that people of all these languages and backgrounds and histories and cultures, we have, most of everything in common. So I found that that was a really beautiful gift. And then the financial part was really important because the euro, for most of the countries, they have the euro, and that's a far stronger currency than the Canadian
Mm,
dollar. And I find that right now, even though travel has exploded in its cost, the Canadian dollar, because of all our printing money that happened in COVID and so on, has become so weak that the euro is actually still kind of making it a little bit possible.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
but that's also a little bit more that's on surface level. I think the most important thing to say would be that these are old cultures over there that have learned the importance of art. And
Mm.
so they have more time off, they have more stable,
And they
um,
invest in it, right? Like, they
they
invest in
invest in it.
venues and yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and they like to go out and they have an interest in, of course, American things,
Mhm.
because it's like the movies, and so, Canadians there's the extra fascination of the wildness of Canada, so they wanna envision me riding a moose, and with a bow and arrow, and they kinda have a special fascination with, native folks and, uh, and anything that's in the North, so they like those kinds of stories from me talking about
Mhm.
those, bush activities.
Yeah, building a house in the middle like, how far away is your Ontario refuge from
My
a road?
well, from the road, well, it takes about 6 kilometers of, snowshoeing. I can drive in now in the when it gets dry enough, there's a bush road that gets
Mm.
in. But most of the time, when it started, I was carrying in supplies, and so I have a little cabin and small house on the way out. Um, but that's very far north, closer to the James Bay than it is to
Mm.
Toronto. Mhm.
Mhm.
I do appreciate the Germans, especially for since they all know English from school and wanting to be set up for business. They really pay attention to lyrics
Mm.
and they understand them and they have great questions about lyrics
Mm.
afterwards. Meanwhile, in Canada, you can have your most profound songs and 20 shows across the country and maybe not even get one good question
No.
about your lyrics.
Yeah. Does anybody care?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a tough one, but I think not to slam Canada, it's just at a different point in growth as a country and appreciating art in different ways.
Mhm.
I really don't mean to sound like a jackass here, but um, but it is the experience that people kind of won't pay attention and won't talk to you about the art, and it's sort of less important.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think that when we go to Europe and somebody treats you as important as someone on the street and says, "Oh, you just traveled across the world and drove all this way to my place, like, can I get you a coffee?"
Mhm.
But meanwhile, like, almost no place in Canada would, like, receive you with a
Oh,
smile or a cup of coffee, so
yeah.
I
Unless they're
think
paying you in coffee.
unless they're it's an opportunity. This is an opportunity for exposure and free coffee.
Oh god, I hope that doesn't happen to you anymore. It hasn't happened to me in a long time.
Oh,
But
it's all the same for me, it no matter how many kind of, let's say, wins happen, it's sorta just the culture of the place, it doesn't change. I think all artists
yeah.
are dealing with the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you grow up playing music? Was there music around you when you were a kid?
Almost not at all.
Hmm.
Yeah. We were a very conservative, family from it growing up in Manitoba in rural areas, and we were, allowed to listen to 2 or 3 tapes
Mm. Yeah.
in the van and otherwise not in the house. So there was, a couple of, Christian songwriters, one
Mhm.
country, one more like Bruce Cockburn, and then a kids tape.
Right.
Yeah, that was kinda it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. So, when did you start playing guitar and writing songs?
Well, the besides having a couple of months of guitar lessons somewhere around grade 7,
Mm.
which wasn't really the genesis. I was 23 and I was in Winnipeg, and I had a profound Christian, like a God experience,
Mm.
and, I was just really looking for the truth at any cost. I wanted to know what was real, and so I was praying and just asking God, and so long story short, because this could be like 2 hours, um, I had this really profound moment when there was an audible, even though it was inside, I believe, um, voice of God that said, "Kneel."
Mm.
And I was like, "No, I'm Matt." No, I'm just kidding. No, but it felt immediately like what he was really saying was like, "You know me. We've had
Mm.
we've
Mhm.
had relationship, and like," and it was true. It kind of flashed through all these times, especially in nature
Mhm.
when I had met with God many times in a quiet way. And so it was sort of like, this is your time to choose. Like, are we doing this or not?
Yeah.
And at the time, I was just, I was studying film and I was making skateboarding movies. And so there was no part of me growing up as a new kid all the time and always like
Mm.
getting bullied and so on. There's no part of me that would have ever drawn attention to myself in the like going on a stage and singing. I wanted none,
Mm.
like nothing. That was nothing, no part of my mind, imagination, So in this God moment, I did go God by myself and I knelt and this heavy presence of God came down and it was actually heavy on my body. And I
Mm.
felt a hand on my shoulder and it was very overwhelming. Of course, I was weeping in response to this holy presence.
Mhm.
And while that was happening and I was giving my life to God, um, there was this weird feeling in my chest, like right in the
Mm.
center, in the breastbone, and it felt like something was kinda growing or getting put in there.
Mm.
And I mean, sometimes if you're, having an emotional time, you kind of feel something like a knot in your chest or your stomach or something, but
Yep.
it was different. It's in a different place, and I remember thinking that this is very strange, I don't know what's happening. And then
Mhm.
once it lifted and the hand came off my shoulder and the presence went away and I was able to get back up, the this thing in me, like, it's sort of like I don't know, this sounds like a fiction movie, sorry, but it's like the true this is how
Mhm.
singing and songwriting came to me, is that thing was, like, activated,
Mhm.
and I couldn't even stand up yet, and I just, like, all of a sudden, it was just, "Ah," it's like I was vomiting noise,
Mhm.
and I didn't know why. All of a sudden, I just needed to sing, like, it was coming out with involuntarily, um, and I didn't
Cool.
know what to do with it, but every time it came up, it was too much emotion for me, and I would
Mhm.
not be able to do it. Fast forward a little bit, and I just had this extreme passion to sing, but I didn't know what to sing.
Mhm.
I thought the church songs weren't good enough for how great and mysterious and magical and powerful the creator
Mhm.
was. So, um, I wasn't sure about that. So I was just kinda stuck. And then a few months later, I went to a place in Winnipeg that doesn't exist anymore. I remember seeing Joel Plaskett Emergency there for
Hmm.
the first time, and, uh, and there was this Winnipeg songwriter named Dan Frechette, and he was just singing and playing. He was just sitting on a stool. He had Hohner harmonicas,
Mhm.
he had a Gibson J45, and he had the little spotlight. There was, like, 12 of us in the room, and he was pouring his heart out. He was
Mm.
so earnest, not trying to be cool, nothing like that. He was just,
Mhm.
like, gushing, uh, with so much passion, and in that moment, with, like, 40 below outside, I was pinned to my stool, and that was the second thing, and that's when the
Mm.
revelation of, "Oh, you're supposed to write your songs."
Right.
So, at that moment, I was 23, and I had, never played guitar or sang and never written songs, and all of a sudden, I just had my purpose, like, I knew what I was
Mhm.
supposed to do. So, I started doing it very passionately, but was not very good. So
No one ever is at the beginning.
but I tried to go, like, 100% into it, and I was
Oh,
just like,
sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Surely you thought that with a bit of divine intervention, you'd be able to pick this up super fast.
I don't know what I can't remember thinking about that. I remember kind
Yeah.
of being embarrassed and apologizing a lot on stage, and people having to, like, tell me, "That ruins it for us. Don't do that," you know?
Yeah. I never apologized on stage when I was starting out, but I did apologize quite a bit when I was just, like, jamming out and, like, with my roommates, and, like, "I'm
Oh,
sorry you
yeah.
have to hear this," like but they were all great. They're like, Just keep going. Just keep going."
You've had really, supportive people around you. I remember you had nice roommates when the first times out, what was that place? Baba's?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we'd go to your apartment, and you had nice people around you all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
you're very nice, so it kinda makes sense that you'd surround yourself with people like that.
That's true. Yeah, good
Yeah,
people tend to find good people.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
But it's funny that you, are telling the story because one of the questions that I have is that because I've noticed that you do talk about God sometimes in your social media posts, and certainly for myself, I've noticed that my ideas of what God is or what that means to me, like, those ideas seem to come from the same place as, like, artistic inspiration. Like, it seems to
Mm,
be the same kind of well. So, the question that I have is, how does your faith interplay with your creativity? Is it like, it sounds like it's meshed, really.
yeah, it is. It is, absolutely. Um, but I've had but there's been so many different iterations and layers to that. Of course,
Mhm.
this particular example of how it came to me, I would never, especially after having such a profound experience with God, no matter how much my faith journey and my actions as like an imperfect human being, kind of flounder, I could never discount this living personal God, you know,
Mhm.
that also for some reason wants to take a regular old, you know, shitty guy, like whatever, and say like, "Hey, I'm gonna make this very obvious to you because otherwise you won't do it, but I'm gonna give you a gift and you may not feel like you deserve it, but I'm going to." I wonder why me like, why I had that experience. So I've shared it a few times with people, and they're like, "Oh, I wish that happened to me." And I think the thing is, Drea, that really opened up the opportunity for that to happen was that I honestly I would have given up anything,
Mhm.
and my heart might not even be at that place right now. But at
Yeah.
that time, I would have given up anything at all in order to just be told the truth.
Mhm.
And
I think probably a lot of people do have those moments, but they don't
Mhm,
recognize them for what they are, and a person has to be really open, like, they really have to be just laid bare kinda thing to be
mhm,
able to recognize something like that that's happening, I think, and, I think a lot of people just aren't quite as attuned, maybe, as others
mm,
to recognize those signs and those messages. I don't know.
yeah. I think the quietness, is a big thing that is missing from culture as
Mhm.
we know it. I've been going to churches, recently, last couple years, and what I've found is there's a lot of revival among young people experiencing God and getting really, excited about that, which is beautiful, except I've seen this culture in churches of, like, more noise, more excitement, more
Mhm.
like really loud band, really loud prayer, don't leave a second, it's the more noise, the more holiness kind of thing.
Right,
And
yeah.
I'm not trying to um discount the hearts of people worshiping and praying, but I wrote this song that's the final one on my album. It's called Spellbound. Um and it's a little bit Radiohead style.
Mhm.
And, it's all about that idea of, like, of needing to be quiet to hear God. And
Mhm.
this I think this world just shoves this noise on us so much, and we have to actively withdraw. And like Christ did, often have had to withdraw and just go pray somewhere. I think that
Yep.
that's how we have those encounters, and often why we also do that as songwriters um,
Yep.
and other artists sort of have to withdraw a little bit just to be able to get an idea because there's too much, cacophony of noise otherwise.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Mhm.
How does it feel when you're in the middle of writing a song that really resonates with you and that you know is great?
Whoa, those are like 2 different kinds of songs, hey?
They can be.
They can be. Wow, is it ever great when it's, like, both together?
Yeah, rare. Rare for me.
Rare, definitely. How does it feel? Yeah. I don't think you know it's great. And so w the feeling that I am most excited about because a lot of my songs in the last 12 years have come actually through this challenge I give myself every once in a while called the Song a Day Challenge.
Mhm.
And so those are often the times, and it's 12 years, I say, because my daughter's almost 12. And so I started having to set time aside.
Mhm.
So when I got a chance to make songwriting a priority, otherwise caring for her is the priority.
Mhm.
And yeah, when you get into that flow that it's just creative and and the quality of it is not on your mind and you've successfully told the judge like thank you very much, here's a comfortable place for you to wait with snacks and drinks, and the inner judge just stays there until it's time, but
Mhm.
and that it's the time just to open up and play. That feeling feels fun and creative and like
In the
there's no
flow,
wrong
right?
way of doing it, yeah, in the flow.
Yeah.
but it's a weird one because when you start sensing also that you're being gifted with something important, that's a
Mm-hmm.
tough one because as soon as the you let it into your brain that it's actually good, it really the judge
Pressure.
is like, "Ooh, let me in."
Yeah.
And it does come with some kind of weight, and I think that's one of my hardest challenges with songwriting is to just stay in the playful
Mm-hmm.
when you know you're getting a big download, for lack
Yeah.
of better words.
Yeah. Hot tip.
Because there's an excitement too,
Mm-hmm.
but then you almost wanna take the credit for it already. You're like,
Yeah.
"No, this isn't how it works." As soon as you kinda make it like, "I want a credit," or, "I wanna finish this so I can share it and get some glory for myself,"
Mm-hmm.
then you forget that I mean, this comes from somewhere. You come from somewhere. The glory should come back to that place. And so
Yeah.
I feel like that's like the human struggle, and an artist gets these opportunities to really confront it more often because the creativity has to be. It only really works well if you're deflecting the glory, but you're doing the work.
Yeah.
Also, later on, you have many more temptations to take the glory. So, I don't know, it's a weird one. It's like it's spiritual growth for sure to go through this over and over and, like, to keep humiliating yourself
Definitely.
with it.
Not for the
Oh,
faint of heart.
it's not for the faint of heart, actually. That's true.
Nope. Yep. It's like
Yeah.
looking into your soul every single time and like pulling something out and deciding if that's like worthy or not or something. Or being in a place where it doesn't matter. You're just a conduit. It's just flowing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think the refinement of heart and soul and as just spiritually as a person, it comes through that actively agreeing that you're gonna go into that process over and over.
Mhm.
Not just the songwriting and trying to get that right, but the and I'm not some, artist that's had to fight the trappings of fame. So that's a whole other thing that I'm sure other people have more to
Mhm.
talk about than I do, but the process itself is hard enough, and, like, there's enough growth in there where I'm like, I can actively see every time I'm engaging in creativity where my flaws as a human are.
Mhm. Yep. Daunting.
Yeah,
But
but I
worth it,
love it
folks. It's
too.
worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the
Well,
money is
here's a
totally worth it, yeah.
well, yeah. Okay, well then,
It's a joke.
what is yeah. Well, we need money to survive,
We do.
unfortunately, but,
Yeah.
uh, what is your measure of success as an artist?
That's awesome. That was the first question I was really asked after I had all this God experience as a young man, and I went to Manitoba Music Office. It's provincial music industry association. I know that Nova Scotia has a really good one. PI has one too.
Yep.
And you guys probably have pretty good support from them,
Yeah,
or
it's pretty good. Yeah.
pretty good.
Yep.
Off camera,
Could be
wouldn't say
better.
brilliant, but no, I know that there's a few provinces that I know the Yukon and Nova Scotia and Manitoba do really well, especially with the industry associations. And all that to say, I was trying to figure out what music is, like what this is
Yeah.
to play songs and to record them. I had no idea. And so
Mhm.
I joined a meeting where there was a few industry people, and the first topic was define what success is to you, because that's a really good thing to know ahead of time.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
and my answer has something to do with like going through the process of creativity and music and doing the work with like increasing integrity. And it was more of like a uh how how I'm going to live and how I'm
Mhm.
going to operate within the system. And there was nothing in there about goals like I'll play this venue or I'll be this rich or I'll be this famous or I'll have this many albums or anything.
Mhm.
And it was the other thing. And I mean, I think that was educated because I was also coming from that God experience. And so I just wanted to serve and kind of hold up my end of that bargain
Mhm.
um, the best I could. And I really only in my whole career, I've only had 2 actual tangible goals. One of them I'll share because you've not asked. One of them was to sing with Emmylou Harris,
Yeah.
and I got to know her, and she was very sweet to me, but one time I asked her to sing on one of my recordings. It's a song called "This Old House,"
Mhm.
and, she liked it, and she said her management was speaking for her on this email, and they said, "Oh, I'm so dumb." She said that she really liked it. The next time she could, get to it was in the fall, so there was, like, I don't know, 4 months later
Mm.
because she was making a record with Mark Knopfler, and they were doing all this
Mhm.
pre-publicity stuff, and I said, "Ah, it's okay, I just assumed I was a young, ambitious person, and I just assumed there would be more chances."
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I said, "No, I'm actually hoping to release the record around then, so, thanks, well, let's do it next time." And I I s I passed. The record turned out great anyway. I had a wonderful songwriter named Eliza Gilkison, sang on that song, and it turned out great, and the song still got out there the way it should have. So that's all
Mm.
good, but I had always hoped to sing with her, and now she's finished, recording and
Mm.
is done. She said she's done recording new things, and so, I missed my chance, so that was kind of a bummer. And, the other one was to work with Daniel Lanois,
Mhm.
and I'd prayed about that for, since I heard his records and I was making records, so 20 years, and, it was kinda funny this fall when I started, working with him as, helping out around the studio. I was like, I should have been more specific with my prayers because because I wanted to make
I
a
mean,
record.
yeah.
God, I thought you knew me. No, I'm joking. This is far better. It's far better just to be spending all that time with him and actually just become friends and stuff. I adore him. He's hilarious, and I just like I love the way he works and just we have a good laugh together. Um, and he actually did at the end. He offered to help a little bit with my new record. So he pre-mastered it. He helped me go between the mixes and the mastering, and he brought it through his system and kinda dialed it up real nice, and so,
Little Lanois touch in there.
yes, yeah, I'm very grateful for that. So I'd say that was my only other goal, otherwise it's all been based around, just trying to not be shitty, I guess,
Yeah.
as far as success, like, if you can get through this industry and this life on this planet without and I haven't done the best job, but, that's still my same measure of success, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, something along these lines that might be encouraging to you as well, that, Dan was telling me a few times over this winter is, there's a lot of people in the industry that they got into it because they love music so deeply. And then the the industry itself and kind of all of these trying to marry such something so vulnerable and spiritual and everything with commerce is tough. Like it's not going to go well. We're all imperfect humans, and so it's kind of natural that it's happening this way. And if
Yeah.
us as artists, as kind of the ones that are really attempting to stay in connection with the creator and in that spiritual role, we also have to lead in the way of don't make the industry and the people in it the enemy. These people actually devoted their lives to the thing they love, and they kind of got bitter, but
Mm.
we're the only ones that have the key to kind of like make them excited again. Let's do our best music. Let's bring them along. Let's say, yeah,
Mm.
how can we work
Change it from the
together?
inside.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And maybe not the industry, but change the person and like reinvigorate the passion for music.
Yeah.
And I think only music and artists and songs can make somebody excited again to remember why they got into it. And so potentially the industry could thrive and we could actually, for example, if we played our cards right, um, not only for ourselves, turning it into something that had less middle people or, the
Mhm.
artist had a better time, but also for the future generations. Um, I think, you having these conversations and the way you've encouraged people throughout your life and career, and the way that I try to do it as well on my side, um, hopefully there could be a more reciprocal industry where when we work together, we actually
Yeah.
like go so much further and create a scene and a culture then in Canada and then Canada has a voice in the world then and there's collaboration and making of
Mhm.
beautiful things in a time when everything's supposed to be anything traditional or anything from the past is being torn down and destroyed and it's all bad and it's all whatever.
Mhm.
It's counterculture like art normally is in
Yep.
in many ways because nobody really likes to look in the mirror and that's what we're supposed to do with art
Yeah.
is kind of provide that reflection back to society and that's often wow, what a privilege to act in that space.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could probably keep talking for hours, but, why don't you let us know what's going on for you this spring, knowing that this will probably air in mid to late May,
Okay.
just in case there's shows that people could see.
Sure. Okay. Um, May well, I will be in Germany. I'm going out there with a trio with a young songwriter that you should get to know. And I know that I've talked personally with you about him.
Mm.
His name's JD Crosstown. Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming
And
here next month, so I'm gonna go see him.
yeah, right in June, right?
Yep.
Right,
Yep.
because obviously he's with me in Germany in May. But he's part of that, what's it called? What's that kind of
It's the
mutual
Small Halls
small
Festival.
house
Yeah.
festival in PEI.
Yeah.
But JD Crosstown Music on Instagram, and, he's, uh, he's a young artist. He's made one record. He's got incredible songs, that haven't been recorded yet that he will be sharing at that, and I'm not even joking around, like, he's got he's got, like, top level songwriting, he's got some songs that would blow your mind, and it's worth traveling to see him at this PI festival, so anyways, he's gonna be joining me opening and then playing lead guitar with me on the road, and my longtime bass player brother, Joel Fashion from Winnipeg, so
Mhm.
we're gonna go out as a trio. And then, we're back early June back in Canada, and, somewhere around that, my next single will come out from this record. It's a duet with Ron Sexsmith, and it's It's
Speaking of songwriting.
speaking of songwriting, yeah, it was actually like I really love the harmonies of the Everly Brothers,
Mm-hmm.
and Ron made one with Don Kerr called Destination Unknown, which was Ron's songs, but Don produced it to be kind of this Everly Brothers blend of their harmonies, and the melody and the harmonies jumps all over. They blend. Their voices are very similar, and I've listened to that album so many times. And I wrote this one song down in Mexico this summer, and it's called "When I Fell." And I wrote it on a ukulele, and I just totally pictured this Everly Brothers thing, and I was like, "Man, if I could get Ron to be interested in this song." So it turned out great, and, um, so that's gonna come out probably shortly after this podcast is aired. That's something to look out for. Otherwise, I don't have much of a summer as far as, festivals. I'm gonna be building my house in the bush and
Mm-hmm.
doing a lot of fishing. But I'll mention JD Crosstown again. He's playing lots of festivals in Canada, especially Ontario. And then I'll probably be putting out this Sugar in the Rain album in its entirety in the fall. So yeah,
Awesome.
thanks for inviting me, and thanks for asking me to share all those things with your listeners.
Thanks for doing it. I'm really glad we could make it happen. It was super
Yeah,
fun.
of course. Um, Remember that time we went to the spa together?
I do.
That
It
was
was,
so good.
it was so great.
I still
We're like,
haven't been to a spa since, and
this is what rich people do.
this is what rich people do. I think we're talking. I was so I was I still feel so good just from that, and that was um 3 years ago.
Yeah,
St. Peter's Bay.
you got it.
What a frickin' beautiful gift. Thank you so much. You're such a
Yeah.
beautiful human.
Thank you. I'm right back at you.
Aw. All right. Thanks.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
is this goodbye for now?
it's goodbye for now, and I'll talk to you soon.
Can't wait. Okay. Thanks, Drea. Lots of love.
Bye.
Bye.
It's nothing and everything. It's a gentle sigh and a scream into the void. It can leave you. It can be you if you let it. You don't know what to do and you don't know what to say. Forget all that. Start anyway. Spark that fire and build it high and watch it burn. Then let it die. It can make you cry. It can dry your eyes. It can be the one that keeps you warm inside, and it breaks your heart, then tells you where to start if you let it. You don't know what to do, and you don't know what to say. Forget all that. Start anyway. Spark that fire, then build it high. Watch it burn, and let it die. It can make you stand up, make you fly. It's a lifetime. In the blink of an eye, it's obsession and objection to the status quo. You got a lot to do, and you got a lot to say. Just write it out, get it on the page. Find your crew, get mobilized, and maybe soon you'll realize that it's nothing and everything. It's a gentle sigh and a scream into the void. It can leave you. It can be you if you let it.